I just knew that, hey, if I wanted to be great at what I do, which is cleaning glass, being friendly, know how to sell, then that's what I need to focus on. But I need somebody like you and your team to help us develop our brand, how that logo looked. Where do we put that logo? What do our business cards look like? What do all of our advertising pieces look like? So that way it's a consistent image and it's a consistent product that's getting out into the market from a group of people that actually know how to do that portion of the business. They specialize in that. And so then it made obvious sense to me for me to reach out to you and people that know that business to help me with that portion of my business. And it's become scalable. And now here we are franchising, and it just goes back into the hands of all the franchisees. And we're like, here, this is what you got. This is what you do. This is the success that's going to create for you. Just follow this. They don't have to reinvent the wheel, and they don't have to be a master of marketing or a master of designing logos.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach. You know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. My rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life. So he was my coach.
You could be anywhere doing a lot of different things, but you chose to be here. And you chose to go somewhere. You said, man, I can go and I can get better. I can go and I can learn. I can go and I can maybe go from where I'm at to where I want to go.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom. Now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks. I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom.
Okay, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we have a wonderful opportunity to be joined by a longtime client who's actually achieved success. And what he's wanting to do now is he's franchising his business, which means he's offering an opportunity for great people like you to team up with his company. Now, just want to make sure everyone understands this. We have faithfully and diligently worked together on systemizing every aspect of Window Ninjas with today's guest for years. So he has really dialed in the systems, and I believe what he presents for you is a wonderful example of what it looks like to have a well-organized, well-systemized business. And with that being said, here's the founder of WindowNinjas.com, Gabe Salinas. Welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Clay. Thanks for having me today.
All right, Gabe. So for anybody who doesn't know the story, how long ago did you and I first meet? How long ago was that? Do you remember?
Well, I'm getting older, Clay, so my memory kind of fades out every now and again, kind of like Joe Biden. But gosh, man, I feel like it's been like 6 years now, man.
And I remember specifically, you had such a crystal clear vision about where you were and where you wanted to be. And so I want to start there because you've done the systems, you've built the systems, and that's why your franchise is so viable right now. So let's just kind of go through these 14 steps so people can understand why windowninjas.com is such a well-oiled machine right now. One, you knew in your mind your revenue goals. So when we sat down with you, you knew your revenue goals. That's step one. Everybody out there, you have to know your revenue goals. That means, what are your weekly revenue goals? Box number two, you have to know your break-even point. You already knew that. You knew, hey, this is how much glass cleaning, window cleaning, duct cleaning, this is how much cleaning I need to do in order to achieve my goals. You already knew that. You knew about the services you wanted to provide. You knew you were providing pressure washing, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, dry vent cleaning, holiday lighting. You knew that. Now, box number three, this is where, in my opinion, it got interesting, because you said, hey, I want to build a business that's going to allow my family to achieve time freedom and financial freedom. So box number three, you got to figure out how many hours per week you're willing to work. And everybody watching today's show is going to have a different answer there. But let's talk about that for a second. You were always adamant about building a business that could be franchisable in a way that could create time freedom and financial freedom for both you and your franchisees of the future. Tell me about why that was a big obsession for you.
It's because of the way I live my life. I mean, I wanted to spend time with my family, and I also wanted to be able to take time off for, other things and endeavors that I wanted to do personally. And so it just made sense to me that if I was going to bring somebody in that was going to be part of our organization, that I really needed to find out exactly what made them tick, what drove them, and what it was that they wanted their life and their day-to-day life to look like. And so it just made obvious sense to me to ask them those questions. What do you want your day-to-day look like? What are your goals for the year? Do you have kids? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to go on vacation 8 weeks a year? What is it that you want, right? I mean, if I start talking about all these great things about Window Ninjas, and I don't dive into finding out what exactly makes that specific person in front of me tick and what drives them, then I don't really know how to help them achieve their goals. So we got to start off with what it is that they want from a goal standpoint. And then we can incorporate the business and how we can get the business to be able to allow them to live that life that they want and achieve those financial goals, time freedom goals, all of those kind of things within their own life. I mean, because if you're going to be in a business, I mean, your business is going to be your life. I mean, it's really going to be a major aspect of your life. And so you've got to build your life, your business around how you really want to live your life.
And again, working with you of these years, I mean, you've really systemized everything. So someone, when they buy a windowninjas.com franchise, what they're buying is a vehicle that can produce both time and financial freedom for them as the owner. Now, box number four, you got to figure out what makes you unique as a business. Now, when you first showed up in our life, when we first showed up in your life, you knew your brand would be called windowninjas.com. You knew that. You had clarified that. But I want to ask you this question. Why did you think so obsessively about naming your business windowninjas.com? And why have you gone so far with the branding, the auto wrap, the logo, the website? Why has there been an obsession to go with the Window Ninjas brand? Because I've seen it from the outside as an advisor. I've seen it really cut through the clutter of commerce. I've seen it really get the attention. I've seen it become memorable. I've seen it to become remarkable, where people remember the brand. But you had already clarified that idea in your mind before you met us. Tell us about why the name Window Ninjas.
Well, it goes back to when I was actually cleaning glass a long time ago, and we were always doing storefronts or residential homes or things of that nature. But cleaning windows is a skill and it is a craft. It's just like any other skilled labor job, whether you're an iron worker, you guys are somebody that's erecting buildings that are 60 feet in the air. I mean, whatever the case may be, window cleaning is a skilled job. And so we would clean windows and we would basically what we would call like we were fanning windows, and we were just, doing our moves. And each one of our customers would come up to me like, gosh, man, you guys are like little ninjas. You're just like such an artist with that squeegee. And it just kind of put a smile on my face, and it just kind of resonated. And as we kind of kept trying to figure out what our name was going to be when I started the company, I just kept reflecting back on all those personal experiences that I had with our customers that were really taken aback about how friendly I was, how customer service oriented I was, and just how much that they could really appreciate the skill of what I did just from a physical viewing standpoint. And so that's how we came up with Window Ninjas. And then I always had a smile on my face when I was cleaning glasses, that and the other. And they would always refer back to that as well. And so I just had this vision in my head of this little ninja guy with a big smile on his face, and then just the logo underneath of him, and him holding a squeegee, kind of like like he's raising his arm in success. And that's where I got the vision. And then I was able to provide that information to a really good artist. And he ended up making exactly what was in my mind. And then we just kind of took it from there and we tweaked it a little bit more. I think you helped us out with some of the fonts and things of that nature. And yeah, I mean, that's where it came from. It's the skill, and it was just the big smile on my face.
Now, again, this is so important for people to understand. These are the steps. These are the practical steps you have to go through to grow a successful company. And on part 2 of today's show, someone says, I don't want to watch part 2 after you tell me this. Listen, part 2 is a show about a car wash. And you go, I don't want to watch. Someone right now, they're going, I am not watching a show about a car wash. But I'm telling you here, I don't care who you are, if you're listening to the words coming out of my mouth, this guy on part 2 of today's show, he has time freedom and financial freedom. Why? Because he has a car wash. And why does he have a car wash? To create time and financial freedom. And if you want to have time and financial freedom, you've got to create a business model that is capable of producing both time and financial freedom for you. And on part 2 of today's show, we've got a car wash guy. Now, let me tell you the downside about opening a car wash. You have to own a car wash. So that means you have to get the water. What? The water to wash the cars, the foundation, the concrete, the building, the apparatus. So step 1, come up with a couple $1,000,000. Step 2, build a successful car wash. And we've helped our client on part 2 of today's show do that. But step 1, you got to buy a car wash. Now, if you want to buy a WindowNinjas.com franchise, Gabe, you don't need to throw up $2 million up front to build a car wash. How much money do you need to put up front to open up a successful WindowNinjas.com franchise?
With the franchise fee, your high-rise addendum, and all your equipment, trucks included, you're looking somewhere around $150,000 to $175,000, depending on which kind of materials you purchase during that build-out process for your vehicle.
Which is 20 times less money than it would cost to open up a car wash. So the reason why I'm helping you, and why I'm advising you and coaching you and mentoring you and encouraging you and celebrating you and all the things we do to help steer traffic towards WindowNinjas.com is that you have built a brand that is scalable, and it provides a real opportunity for people to have real financial freedom. Whereas a car wash, my wonderful client on part 2 of today's show, he does not want you to reach out to him to learn how to open up another car wash, because step 1, get $2 million. Okay, we move on to step 5 here. Improve the branding. We've worked with you diligently over the years to nail down the website, the print pieces, the logos. Can you talk about why it's been helpful to have a team or an advisory team, or in this case, our team, helping you brand the business and go through with a fine-tooth comb and just kind of nail down those aspects of the business previous to franchising?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to it goes back to what you're good at, Clay. Even if the guy that's opening up the car wash is great at opening up car washes and running a car wash, then cool. But he's probably not that great at marketing, and he's probably not that great at branding. And so I just knew that, hey, if I wanted to be great at what I do, which is cleaning glass, being friendly, know how to sell, then that's what I need to focus on. But I need somebody like you and your team to help us develop our brand, how that logo looked, where do we put that logo? What do our business cards look like? What do all of our advertising pieces look like? So that way it's a consistent image and it's a consistent product that's getting out into the market from a group of people that actually know how to do that portion of the business. They specialize in that. And so then it made obvious sense to me for me to reach out to you and people that know that business to help me with that portion of my business. And it's become scalable. And now here we are franchising, and it just goes back into the hands of all the franchisees. And we're like, here, this is what you got. This is what you do. This is the success that's going to create for you. Just follow this. They don't have to reinvent the wheel, and they don't have to be a master of marketing or a master of designing logos.
I'm telling you, folks, if you're out there today and you say, I don't want to put up $2 million to open up a car wash, and I don't want to have to go through the years and years it took to refine a business. That's why a windowninjas.com franchise is powerful. It's because you're essentially you're bowling with bumpers. It's like bumper bowling. It makes it harder to miss. Okay, box number 3. You have nailed down a turnkey marketing system, a 3-legged marketing system. There is a proven turnkey way in which you now market to your ideal and likely buyers. I want to focus on 3 of the legs here. One is you dominate the Google search engine results. If you buy a windowninjas.com franchise, you too will dominate the search engine results. 2, you guys have great auto wraps. So every time you park your car at a job, people will see those auto wraps. And 3, you have a solid social media presence and a system that makes sense. Walk the listeners through the power of having a 3-legged marketing stool now in place, as opposed to just, randomly trying different marketing activities to see what might work.
Man, to be honest, it goes back to what I constantly hear repetitively from a lot of people that know me or have heard of me, and that is I get these phone calls all the time, Clay, where guys are just saying, Gabe, I see your trucks everywhere. Hey, Gabe, I saw one of your trucks in Raleigh when I went up there to take my kid to college. Hey, Gabe, I didn't realize you were down in Charleston too, man. I saw a ton of trucks down there. And the reason they see that is because our logo is unique, but it's also um, the same across every one of our locations. And so just because people know it here and they go up the road and they may be using our services here, but they may not realize that, hey, we are in 14 different locations. And so next thing you know, they're going up to Raleigh or they're going to Virginia Beach or somewhere like that. And they're seeing one of our trucks and they're just like, wow, those guys are everywhere. So by having all of those logoed brands, following a 3-legged marketing stool, we just keep pushing that information through social media, pushing it through paid advertising leads, pushing it through branded logoed trucks, pushing it through all of our advertisements. Everything is just the same. And that's where it resonates with customers because they keep seeing that same image over and over and over again in a multitude of different markets. And that's what drives sales. It really generates a lot of leads because we're getting leads coming in from all over the 4 states that we're in currently, and it's just creating this synonymous relationship with all of these customers that we are serving now and the customers that we're just taking on every single day, all these new customers. It's a win-win.
I'm telling you, folks, if you're watching today's show, you really got to take notes because Gabe has implemented that which we're talking about on today's show. Box number 7, you've got to create a sales conversion system. You have to have sales scripts, recorded calls, 1-sheets, pre-written emails, lead trackers. I repeat, sales scripts, recorded calls for quality assurance, a 1-sheet. You have to have a well-trained customer scheduling center or calling center. You have to have a lead tracking system. You have built all of those systems. We have worked with you to build all those systems. Now those systems are in place. And so for anybody who buys a windowninjas.com franchise, they get to benefit from those systems. Could you talk about the benefit of having those sales systems now in place?
Yeah. Well, what a lot of people don't realize, and they're just amazed once they do get in here and start finding out more about us from a franchise system, is we have a call center that, like you said, Clay, all of our calls are recorded, all of our calls are scripted, all of our call center agents handle every single one of our customers the same exact way. We know exactly what lead source is coming in from that specific customer, whether it's a previous customer, a new customer. If they heard us on Google, saw one of our fabulous reviews, they might have found us on LinkedIn or what. I mean, there's a multitude of places that we're advertising, where people are seeing our images, but we track every single one of those. And that way, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the year, we know what sources are working the best. And our call center agents, if they didn't have a script and we didn't record their phone calls, then we wouldn't have any idea what it is they're saying on the phone or what we need to do to correct them when they say, maybe make a mistake on the phone, or help them get better when they're struggling with certain parts of the script, or maybe even if it's a question a customer may have. But having all of those things, tracking those leads, knowing exactly where they're coming from, no matter how many you're getting each single week, every single day, comparing those numbers to where you were at a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, all of that tracking and all of those leads that are coming in with the recorded calls and having those scripted conversations means a lot. It keeps everything very systemized, symmetrical throughout the entire system. The customer service experience is definitely better because it's not a guessing game. We give them confirmations, we verify all their information, and hey, if we forget or we make a mistake on one of our sales sheets, boom, we can go back to that call and say, oh, yes, it was 28405, not 28411 for the zip code. And then we don't have to reach out to the customer and say, oh, can I get that zip code of yours again? Because I forgot what it was. It just alleviates all of that hokey mess that you see out there in a lot of businesses today, Clay.
This is powerful stuff. And again, all of this has been thought through. It's been detailed. It's been documented at windowninjas.com for all the franchisees. With the limited time we have today, we're going on to box 8. You have to determine your sustainable customer acquisition costs. A lot of words. What does that mean? How much money does it cost you to obtain a new customer? A lot of people own a business and they can't ever really figure out a sustainable process for gaining customers. On today's show, we're joined here with a guest. It's windowninjas.com. Again, Gabe Salinas, who his company has a turnkey way, a turnkey process in place to generate leads. Obviously, I have a bias because I've coached with you and worked with you for years. But could you talk about why it was so important for you and my team to work together to develop a turnkey process to generate leads? Because most business owners don't have a turnkey way to generate leads.
Well, you hit the magic word on the head. You actually said customer acquisition cost earlier, and yes, it's important. It was important for us to develop a systemized way of getting leads, tracking leads, and knowing how much those leads cost. Because once we started figuring out those numbers in conjunction with, with your help by doing all of those other things, we were able to start tracking those numbers and figuring out how much it was costing us to acquire a customer. And then it allowed us, once we figured out that number, it allowed us the opportunity to then tweak those ads, refine things, and then start watching those customer acquisition costs lower themselves. And we also needed to understand that if our customer acquisition cost was X and it cost us that much to get that customer, and our average cost or our average price tag for each customer, what they're spending with us on average, we knew what that number was. And then we knew exactly what number we wanted to hit for the year as far as revenue goes. We needed to have that acquisition cost, how much the customer was spending. That was going to dictate how many new customers that we needed to taken on that specific year, which goes back into the marketing budget. So every single one of those steps allowed us to be able to take each location and say, all right, great. If we need 200 new customers this year, boom, that's what we need. We know exactly how much it's going to cost us. We know how much is in our budget, and which exactly matches that number of what it cost us. And then all we had to do is sit back, watch those leads come in, handle those leads, acquire those customers, do a great service, collect the money, and then at the end of the year, man, we had hit all of our goals.
I'm telling you, folks, what you just said, that right there is powerful stuff. Once you nail down the cost of what it costs you to obtain new customers in a scalable way, you can begin to create time and financial freedom. Box number 9, you've got systems and processes for everything, a checklist, a system, and a process for everything. If you buy a windowninjas.com franchise, you are buying a well-oiled machine, folks. Box number 10, if you buy a windowninjas.com franchise, Gabe and his team will provide coaching and mentorship for you to teach you how to manage your staff. So many people struggle today on getting their people to do their jobs. Gabe Salinas and his team will mentor you, coach you, and guide you on how to manage and mentor your team if you buy a windowninjas.com franchise. Box number 11, the windowninjas.com team will work with you to develop a sustainable, repetitive, and weekly schedule. What do I mean? If you buy a windowninjas.com franchise, they're going to help you build a business that's designed to help you create time and financial freedom. Box number 12, if you need to hire people, and you will need to hire people, if you need to hire people, they have a proven system in place for hiring candidates, onboarding candidates. They've thought about the entire process. Box number 13, they know how to track the numbers there at windowninjas.com. They have a tracking system so that way you can keep an eye on your business. It's sort of like if you're in a car, you want to know your speedometer, how fast are you driving? You want to know how much fuel you have left. There's certain things you need to know if you're driving a car so you don't run out of gas, so you're not driving too fast or too slow. They help you with that. They really do help you build a dashboard, a cohesive dashboard to help you track your business. And then box number 14, we go back to it. What is the point of achieving financial success? I would argue it's so you can have success in 7 areas. You can have success in the areas of faith, family, friendship, fitness, finances, fun. There's so much to life, and life, again, life, it can be broken into many different categories, but I like to think about it like, there's the faith aspect of your life, there's family, there's friendship, there's fitness, there's finances, there's fun, there's your focus. Where are you going to put your focus? Where are you going to put your focused attention?
All
All
that stuff,
that,
Clay. Hey, Clay, that stuff goes back to what you started with at the beginning, and that's where we were at is like, what do you want your life to look like? Where's that focus? The finances, your friendships, the faith, your family, all of those things are important. Your fun. I mean, when are you taking time out to go have fun, right? I mean, so many people overlook that one thing and they just kind of they wander through life looking like this, man, like it's like a worm trying to get through life, It's just not fun.
right, and you've done it. You've implemented this. You've created these systems. They're in place, and so I'm here to brag on you a little bit. I mean, you've really diligently implemented all the systems, and the one thing I'll tell you is, when you think about a brand like OxyFresh that I've worked with for years, they now have over 500 locations. Well, it becomes harder and harder to buy an OxyFresh location because typically the territories that people are looking for oftentimes are not available. So people go to oxyfresh.com. A lot of times they say, "Hey, I want to buy a OxyFresh in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's sold out. I want to buy one in Jefferson City, Missouri. It's sold out. I want to buy a franchise in Colorado, just the state of Colorado. It's sold out." So if you are saying, "Hey, I want to be a part of a franchise that's growing and I want to have something that I can be a part of that is available in my hometown," go to windowninjas.com, windowninjas.com. Gabe, final 30 seconds. I'll give you the final word. Why should everybody learn more about a Window Ninjas franchise today by going to windowninjas.com?
Clay, if everybody out there is interested in an opportunity that's going to allow them time freedom, financial freedom, and for them to be able to be part of a successful business, they should definitely reach out to us over here at Window Ninjas. We provide a great opportunity in a multitude of cities, and we have great training, education, the systems. I mean, we've got our branding is awesome. I mean, and we have a call center that answers all of our customers' calls, which makes it super easy on those franchisees because they don't have to have a physical office because we handle all of that, and it allows them to be great in front of their customers and with their team. And it just kind of lets them focus on that while we are focusing on what we're really great at. It's a true partnership. It is really the way a franchise should be built, is a true partnership. That's why somebody should reach out to us if they're interested in having a franchise business.
And I feel so good about it because we've worked with you for years, and I really know that you've dialed in all your systems. I mean, I feel very, very good about those systems. And I think, a lot of people have bought a franchise in the past, or maybe they've had an experience with a franchise in the past that didn't have their systems dialed in. I am just very confident that windowninjas.com is a great solution. Gabe Salinas, I really honor your time. I value your time. Thank you for being with us today, and I can't wait to have you on the show again next week.
I'll see you next week, Clay. Thanks for having me, bud.
Bye-bye.
Well, I would have to say that at first it did seem overwhelming, but the more I get familiar with all the little things that Coach is telling us to do, the more I embrace it, and it becomes like a natural. It seems natural to me now. These are not things that I learned in business school or anywhere else. It's pretty amazing to me how you could follow your almost like a recipe in baking a cake. You follow the recipe and it works. And we have the growth to provide. Now, I say that we're growing and we have new car washes in our little town. It's only 80,000 people. And we have two competitive car washes, and still our numbers are growing. So that proves to me that not only do they work, but they work regardless of what the business environment is. If you follow these steps and do the way you and your company lays it out to us, then it's going to be successful.
Well, hopefully you know this and you feel this, and this has become true for you. But we deeply care about you and your success. You personally, I appreciate you carving out time. And for anybody who's watching this conversation, helping people like Larry is what we like to do. It's an honor because money is a magnifier, and money just allows people to be more of who they are. And I'm telling you, folks, if you're somebody that's got ministry aspirations, or you just want to be a consistent tither, or you want to be somebody who can put your kids through school, or you want to, whatever it is you want to do, money, unfortunately or fortunately, allows us to do that. And so you've got to build a successful company, and that and to do that, it's not just one thing. And so I would encourage anybody out there, if you're in the area and you want to schedule a time to visit the car wash, it may become a tourist attraction over time. Who knows? Check out eastridgecarwash.net. That's eastridgecarwash.net. And if you want to schedule a free consultation with myself, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You can schedule that free consultation, and then we always have a workshop coming up. I usually do 4 to 6 a year. This is my 20th year doing these business workshops. So our next one, which is coming up, I'm not sure when people will see this particular broadcast, but coming up here in March, we've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We have Eric Trump. Robert Kiyosaki's financial advisor will be there, and so many other great folks. Larry, I'll give you the final word, sir. You got the final 30 seconds. What say you?
Well, we already have our tickets for the workshop. My wife and I go, and we're taking one of our lead men. So I recommend that as a place to jump off, meet people of your same, kind of like your same tribe. You have a business and you want to do better, and this is the place to go to get that inspiration and do some networking, and then just learn uh, procedures that actually work in their business.
Folks, Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, he once said that a goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. And I think there's somebody watching today's show that you feel like maybe this is your year, or maybe you think, I don't know if this is my year. Maybe my business is stuck. And if you're watching today's show, the purpose of today's show is to encourage you that you too can get your business unstuck. And to join us today, we have as our featured guest, as our success story, is the founder of eastridgecarwash.net. That's the founder of eastridgecarwash.net. With that being said, Larry, welcome to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thank you.
So
Thank
first off,
you.
tell us, what made you get into the car wash business?
Well, I used to be in the sign business, and we sold signs to car washes all throughout the country. And I really liked the industry, so I jumped out from the sign business into the car wash business.
And Larry, just so people can verify you're not a hologram, what's your last name, sir?
Edwards.
Edwards. Okay. And how did you first hear about our program or the business growth incubator that we have here?
Through some friends, the Whiteds on the Flyover Conservatives.
And so we've had the opportunity to work with you for a while here, and you've been having some success. But I think it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's consistency. I mean, you provide value for your customers. You provide great car wash services in exchange for profits, and we're just helping you do that at a faster rate. Could you share with the listeners out there what are the products and services that you guys offer there at eastridgecarwash.net?
Well, we were what's called an exterior car wash, where we don't do the insides, but we do have vacuums available for the customers to use free of charge. And it's a tunnel wash, 165-foot conveyor, so it's larger than most. And we're noted for high quality and speed.
So I'm going to unpack the growth that you've had kind of line by line. We'll go through about 12 items in 10 minutes, and I want to get your thoughts on these. So first off, it appears as though you've been able to increase the number of members that you have that are members of your car wash since we've been able to work with you. Could you talk about the growth that you've seen there, sir?
Well, when we started with you all, with Carter is my coach, and we went from 350, if I remember correctly, to 1,500 plus members. Now, every winter for some reason, we lose club members because some people go south for the winter. So we expect the cancellations. We have 18 cancellations so far. So, but we sold 24 new ones. So we have a plus, a gain there, even though we lost 18 people going to Texas or going to Arizona or Florida, wherever they go. So that has been something we learned last year, and we see it recurring again this year. So that's just part of doing business.
So, you've been able to grow from 300 to 1,500 members. Want to get your thoughts on this. Now, to do that, we had to team up with you to build a website. And your
Yes.
website, I'm going to pull it up here for anybody who's in the area. I encourage them to check it out. What areas do you service there at eastridgecarwash.net?
Well, we service pretty much all of St. Joseph. It's not a huge town. We deal with, or we have a lot of customers coming from uh, towns around. We have college towns, Maryville, Chillicothe to the east, and a lot of farm communities. So uh, we don't just wash cars like in a large city. We would do mostly cars, but where we're at, we're only 15 minutes away from a farm country, so we get a lot of big farm trucks and mud, and so we we have to be versatile to wash a Corvette and a mud truck right behind it. So
Now, working with you, one of the things that we've tried to do is just get you more business. I mean, help you reach more customers, and that's a big part of it. And so when people now do a search for a car wash, St. Joe, Missouri, you now are in the conversation. East Ridge Car Wash, you guys are now in the conversation. Your website is now in the conversation. You're now relevant when people are searching in those search results. You now are coming up at the top or near the top of the search results. What kind of an impact has that made on your business being top in the search engine ranking and having a website that comes up top in those search results?
well, we've enjoyed a growth in our club membership and a growth in our new people, new customers, and we keep track of that, and we try to keep track of the source, like how did they hear about us, obviously, and most of everybody that comes in that's new is word of mouth. So we do have advertising, we have television and some radio. Mostly our Google webpage, I guess, is the place where people search to see how we're rated and ranked. And so I believe the last time we looked, we were the most highest rated and most reviewed car wash in St. Joseph.
Amen to that. Now, money is a magnifier. So if you're watching today's show, money is a magnifier. It helps
Yes.
you just have more money so you can do more of the things that you believe God's called you to do. And I know you guys are a great family-owned business there. I want to ask you this. Once you start getting more leads, then we have to do these online ads. And that's a kind of a tedious technical process where our team manages and maintains those ads that are running for you. Could you talk about what it's like to know that you're paying a team a flat rate every month to do what they do, as opposed to I know in my life, en route to growing many companies, there were vendors that there wasn't a flat rate. Every time you called the web guy, it was a $250 charge. Every time you called the video guy, it was a $500 charge. Every time you wanted to get something done, it would take 2 months. Could you talk about the peace of mind that has given you or not given you working with our team, knowing that it's a flat rate?
Well, I've had the same experience that some companies that we deal with now will vary the billing and the rates, and it's almost like whatever they felt like they should charge that particular day or week. And we never know how to budget or how to prepare for the next bill. And so having a set rate with you and your company is very comforting in that I can budget for it, I can plan on it. I know what to expect there. So yeah, that is a great comfort.
Now, my understanding is you're needing to hire some people, or you are hiring people. Your business is growing, and therefore you need to always be hiring wonderful people. And you guys have a standard of excellence that you want to provide to the marketplace. I know we've begun implementing the hiring process with your brand, what we call the group interview process or the hiring process. Could you talk about the impact on your business that's had implementing the hiring processes?
Yes, we have lost three key players just since we've started with you. Two managers and our bookkeeper that have been with us for 16 years. So we had to replace all those people, and uh, plus the normal comings and goings of the workers. Um, so the group interview has been an amazing improvement in hiring for us because we've always had difficulties finding that A player or someone that we can rely on, because it is hard work for the guys in the tunnel. But we do have an office, and we do have other things, and so we have to get a variety of talents. And when we do the group interview, we are able to spot the difference between the likely workers for one area and the other. So it's been a really good improvement for us to do it that way.
Now, you're in the Kansas City area, so I'm not sure if you're a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, but I know that for people that are a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, most people look at the scoreboard like it matters. You know, they know that their team is ahead or their team is behind, and most people know what down it is. They know how many minutes are left in the game. There's a public scoreboard. Unfortunately, in many small businesses, there's not a scoreboard, so people don't know, is the company losing? Is the company winning? Are we getting ahead? Are we getting behind? How much time is left? My understanding is that we've worked with implementing a scoreboard system, or maybe accountability, a tracking system where people know where they stand. Could you talk about the impact that system has made on your business?
Yes, we have a whiteboard in our office in a location where you everyone has to walk past, and we're keeping score on the sales department and some of the other details that we have. When we first put it up, we were having a lot of pushback on people trying to get Google reviews. And once we started keeping track, then all of a sudden, all the sales staff really stepped up their game and started getting better numbers, because they could see that maybe my numbers weren't quite as good as the next guy. So I'm going to try harder. And it worked very well for us.
Now, signage. I know a huge thing for a business like yours that has a physical location, and so many of our listeners have businesses that have physical locations. About half of our clients have physical locations. The other half does not. The other half has a virtual or online business of some kind. Could you talk about the signage and the importance of doing? We've worked together to optimize the signage so that it's very obvious that you exist, and hopefully you can grab the attention of your ideal and likely buyers as they drive by there, sir.
Well, our coach talked to us about the purple cow concept, and we tried to figure out what to put out there, whether it would be a 15-foot gorilla or something to be different. And what we've come up with recently is a car wash professor concept that with our television advertising. So that's going to be our mascot, and we are in the works of having a 14-foot tall professor life cutout, and that will take the place of the purple cow or the 15-foot gorilla. We're going to have the professor, so that way we can use that as our mascot throughout all our advertising, and kind of maybe put us on the map a little bit more than our regular signage.
Now, final two questions for you, sir, and I really do appreciate you carving out time for us, is, again, if you're watching today's show and you have a business and you just feel like it's stuck, I get it. Trust me, folks. I talk to at least 5 to 10 wonderful entrepreneurs a day who call me and say, Clay, I feel stuck. In fact, I'll give you an example, folks, just switching gears. One of our clients is called Revitalize Medical Spa. And these guys, they're called Revitalize Medical Spa. And I never want to hop on a show like this and exaggerate the growth of what they do or how they've done. But I believe this company is now 3 times larger than where they were just a couple years ago. I mean, I know they're at least 3 times larger than where they were a couple years ago. And I think somebody out there, Larry, they're feeling stuck. And there's somebody out there, they might have a medical spa. I think about one of our longtime clients, Koloff Fitness. They're in Missouri. They have a gym based in Missouri. They have gyms all over the country called KoloffFitness.com. They once felt stuck, and now they're growing. I know of a brand, OxyFresh, OXIFresh.com. We've had the opportunity to serve them. They've now grown to 550 locations, from a handful of locations to 550 locations. And I'm trying to give people different examples, because people always think, well, my industry is different. One of our clients, grillblazer.com. This is a consumer grade blowtorch that is primarily sold online. We've helped him to grow dramatically. One of the speakers at the last in-person Thrivetime show workshops, Jill Donovan, Rustic Cuff. We've had the pleasure to serve her and help her with her apparel and her custom cuffs that she sells primarily online. I think of brands like Winters King, the law firm we've had the opportunity to work with for over a decade, wintersking.com. And I could sit there and rattle off examples of clients that we've worked with and that we do work with. And at the end of the day, I want to encourage somebody out there that this is the year to do it. You can do it. What do you say, Larry, to somebody out there that's a little hesitant about coming to a workshop and or scheduling a free 13-point assessment with me?
Well, I'll address the workshop first. I've been to 4, and I always come away motivated and full of new ideas. And I come back to our company, I implement those ideas, then I go back to the next one and get filled up with more good ideas. So I highly recommend those. And then as far as the weekly coaching, we were a little reluctant at first. And Carter had to spank us a few times to get us to do things that didn't seem logical. And then all of a sudden it clicked, and we started doing the things that he was asking us to do. And so surprisingly to me, these things work. These things that we can track, our lead tracking. We can do all sorts of things that we weren't doing before. And because of our position in Google and going after Google reviews, which that never crossed my mind before, but now we're doing it, and we're getting. Sometimes we trade places. Yesterday we were in the number 1 slot. Today we see that brand X is in number 1, but we jump back and forth. But we're 4th when we first looked at it. We're in the 4th position, and so now we're 1 and 2 depending. So depending on the day. But our growth, our sales is up annually 33%. And our monthly increase is 42%, so that we've broken records every month except November. Every month this year so far. So January through October, we set monthly records. And we were on a course and we're very weather related. So should we get decent weather, we'll finish out with the most cars washed this year that we've ever done. So obviously the revenue goes up. The more cars we wash, the more the revenue goes up. So all these things that we're implementing that Coach Carter has been telling us to do is starting to pay out.
Now, the final 2 questions I have here for you, or I guess the final question I have here for you is, there's sales training. We work with your team on sales training, and, we work with your team on search engine optimization. We work with your team on running these online ads. We work with your team on signage, and it's a process. And just like growing a garden, you have to sow the seeds, continue to water the seeds, pull the weeds. It is a process. And I think people want success to be an event. I'm sure our listeners don't want success to be an event, but other people want success to be an event. They want it to be hit the button, growth happens. They don't want to embrace the process. And I know you're a guy who embraces the process. Could you talk about the sales process, just working with your team on a consistent basis, training the members of your team on a consistent basis to become the best salespeople that they can be?
Well, we have a sales meeting every week. We do have huddles, and sometimes the sales staff doesn't get in the huddle because the car wash crews are more of a huddle type circumstance. But when we have our Thursday meetings, sales meetings, we go over anything new that we would have. Plus, we do some role playing and are trying to increase the effectiveness of the sales effort. We're a little different in that a lot of my competitors have automatic tellers where you don't speak to a human, you just punch a button, put in a credit card to go on. And we are old school, so that we have a window with a real human, and every interaction there is with a human. So we try to keep that touch going, and the feedback that we get from the customers is the best way for me to know how they're doing. And we people don't tell me how wonderful my car wash equipment is. They always tell me how amazing the staff is. They tell me that the girls always really take good care of them in the sales, and that the guys are always smiling and they're hustling. And so I get a lot of feedback about the people and nothing about the equipment, because if it comes out clean, they don't care what I had in there. So it's the people that really make the difference.
You know, I
So
100%
from our
agree.
sales,
I agree with. I didn't mean to cut you off. I want to say I agree with you, and I think that what you're doing here, and I hope that our listeners are picking up on this. People say, "What's the most important ingredient to growing a successful company? Is it the marketing? Yes. Is it the branding? Yes. Is it the customer service? Yes. Is it the sales training? Yes. Is it the customer wowing experience? Yes. Is it hiring good people? Yes. Is it the daily huddles? Yes. Is it offering that personal touch? Yes. Is it the new signage? Yes. Is it what it is it's implementing all of those ingredients or all of those processes simultaneously. It's like a big symphony of commerce, and each part of the business is a different instrument. And I want to get your thoughts here in the final 60 seconds we have for you. How would you describe what the process has been like having a coach on a weekly meeting that has worked with you to implement all of these systems simultaneously? Because it could seem overwhelming for somebody on the outside who's hearing about you implementing all of these systems simultaneously.
well, I would have to say that at first it did seem overwhelming, but the more I get familiar with all the little things that coach is telling us to do, the more I embrace it, and it becomes like a natural. It seems natural to me now. These are not things that I learned in business school or anywhere else. It's pretty amazing to me how you could follow your almost like a recipe in baking a cake. You follow the recipe and it works. And we have the growth to provide. Now, I say that we're growing, and we have new car washes in our little town. It's only 80,000 people, and we have two competitive car washes, and still our numbers are growing. So that proves to me that not only do they work, but they work regardless of what the business environment is. If you follow these steps and do the way you and your company lays it out to us, then it's going to be successful.
Well, hopefully you know this and you feel this, and this has become true for you. But we deeply care about you and your success. You personally, I appreciate you carving out time. And for anybody who's watching this conversation, helping people like Larry is what we like to do. It's an honor because money is a magnifier, and money just allows people to be more of who they are. And I'm telling you, folks, if you're somebody that's got ministry aspirations, or you just want to be a consistent tither, or you want to be somebody who can put your kids through school, or you want to, whatever it is you want to do, money, unfortunately or fortunately, allows us to do that. And so you've got to build a successful company, and and to do that, it's not just one thing. And so I would encourage anybody out there, if you're in the area and you want to schedule a time to visit the car wash, it may become a tourist attraction over time. Who knows? Check out eastridgecarwash.net. That's eastridgecarwash.net. And if you want to schedule a free consultation with myself, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You can schedule that free consultation, and then we always have a workshop coming up. I usually do 4 to 6 a year. This is my 20th year doing these business workshops. So our next one, which is coming up, I'm not sure when people will see this particular broadcast, but coming up here in March, we've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We have Eric Trump. Robert Kiyosaki's financial advisor will be there, and so many other great folks. Larry, I'll give you the final word, sir. You got the final 30 seconds. What say you?
Well, we already have our tickets for the workshop. My wife and I go, and we're taking one of our lead men. So I recommend that as a place to jump off, meet people of your same kind of like you're saying, tribe. You have a business and you want to do better, and this is the place to go to get that inspiration and do some networking, and then just learn uh, procedures that actually work in their business.
Amen, Larry. Thank you so much for carving out time for us. Have a great rest of your day, sir.
Thank you too.
Bye-bye.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Okay, Aaron Antis, March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, guess who's coming to Tulsa, Jerusalem?
Ooh, Santa Claus?
No, that's March. March 6th and 7th,
Oh.
You're going to be joined by Robert Kiyosaki.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Probably the best-selling, or one of the best-selling business authors of all time. And he's going to be joined with Eric Trump. He'll be joined by Eric Trump. So we got Eric Trump and Robert Kiyosaki in the same place.
In the same place.
Aaron, why should everybody show up to hear Robert Kiyosaki?
Well, you got billions of dollars of business experience between those two, not to mention many, many, many millions of books have been sold. Many, many millionaires have been made from the books that have been sold by Robert Kiyosaki. I happen to be one of them. I learned from the man. He was the inspiration. That book was the inspiration for me to get the entrepreneurial spirit, as many other people.
Now, since you won't brag on yourself, I will. You've sold billions of dollars of houses, am I correct?
That is true.
And the book that kickstarted it all for you,
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the author, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that kickstarted your career.
Yeah.
He's going to be here.
He's going to be here. I'm pumped.
And now Eric Trump, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States and soon to be the 47th president of these United States, he needed someone to run the companies for him. And so the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second. Would you buy a ticket just to see Robert Kiyosaki and Eric Trump? Of course you would.
Of course you would.
But we're also going to be joined by Sean Baker. This is the best-selling author, the guy who invented the carnivore diet.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Sean Baker. He's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. He's going to be joining us. So you've got Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Eric Trump, Sean Baker. The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had 419 people that were here. 419 people.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that if a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. No, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what, we should probably add on. So we're adding on what we call the upper deck, or the top shelf. So the seats are very close to the presenters, but we're actually building right now. We're adding on to the facility to make room to accommodate about another 30 attendees or more. So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. In anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge, learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard. And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. And this is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis. There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. There's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
I should write that down. And I can do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and petting
I should do that. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business. But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet. And then you add to that Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You add to that Eric Trump, the man that runs the Trump Organization. You add to that Sean Baker. Now you might say, but Clay, is there more? I need more. Well, okay, Tom Wheelwright is the wealth strategist for Robert Kiyosaki. So people say, Robert Kiyosaki, who's his financial wealth advisor? Who's the guy who manages, who's his wealth strategist? His wealth strategist, Tom Wheelwright, will be here. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma, and nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in the it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns what do you call that? The rental,
a storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event. Again, the day here is March 6th and 7th. March 6th and 7th, we just got confirmation. Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he'll be here. Eric Trump, the man who leads the Trump Organization. It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you this will be 10 times better than that.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Now, don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. I mean, it is life changing. It is life changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right. Really. So if you're looking to have life changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.